I love myself. Is this something that you can say? If not, then this video is for you. Hi friends, Kathleen here, Chief Wealth Creator and founder of Diamond Academy. We specialize in manifestation, law of attraction, and self-love for impact-driven entrepreneurs. I want to thank you for tuning in. And if you haven't done so already, click the bell and subscribe for updates of new content that we release every single week. Lack of self-love might seem obvious to you, but it's not always that obvious. And so it's one of those things where in order to appreciate the light, you have to experience the dark. And so you won't know what true self-love is until we highlight the lack of self-love. And so from my personal experience, I can tell you that I probably at the time didn't believe that I didn't love myself. I just was kind of neutral. But now looking back, I can absolutely say that I did not have any self-love. And so the first thing that I would consider is where you're at with your thinking about yourself. And I became an observer of my own thoughts, and I paid attention. And I specifically paid attention at one moment in time when I was in front of the mirror, and usually in front of the mirror after I'd undressed about to go into the shower. And I noticed what thoughts came through as I looked at myself. And I didn't look myself in the eyes at that point, but I would look at myself. What I found is the thoughts that I was having were quite disrespectful. And they were things that I would never say to my worst enemy to their face. And so I was saying them so much to myself. I was putting myself down, saying how gross I was and ugly I was, and telling myself I need to do this and telling myself I need to do that. And noticing all the areas that I didn't like about my physical body. And that's where I began to observe myself. And then I started to notice other areas of my life outside of that moment. So when I'm just about to get onto a meeting with a room full of people, what are my thoughts? Do I feel like I'm fitting in? Do I feel like I'm the odd one out? Do I feel less than? Am I shy? Do I raise my hand? Do I ask questions? Do I speak up when I have a different opinion? And so you can see that I started looking at all the different areas in my life and noticing the thoughts and feelings that I had about myself. One thing became very clear. There weren't thoughts that were empowering. All of the thoughts that I was having were putting myself down. And so I so freely will give love to others, but what I noticed is that I was not giving it to myself. And as you're listening to this, you're probably noticing in yourself this same type of thing. You're noticing all the bad things you're saying to yourself, all the ways that you're disrespecting yourself, but you aren't noticing anything positive. And so this is what the lack of self-love looks like. So one thing that I would encourage you to do is to take a look at how much you love the most important person you have in your life right now. And so that might be a spouse, it might be a mother, it might be a child, it might be a pet, whatever that is for you. What is it like to give them love? What are the things that you say to them? What are the things that you do for them? What are the feelings that you pass on to them? How do you compliment them? How do you surprise them? How do you treat them overall? And likely you are treating them 100 times better than you are treating yourself. And so the message you are sending is that this person is more important than you are. And why would we send that message? The other really interesting thing is that when that person that you love the most speaks negatively about themselves to you, what is your reaction? You tell them that that's not nice. Don't talk about yourself that way. And so you're so easy to encourage them to love themselves. However, you don't encourage yourself to love yourself. So the biggest thing is, if you want to experience more love in your life, it's not from other people that you seek, but from yourself. So when people tell you you did a good job, when people tell you that they are proud of you, when people tell you that they love you, it's in the moment that you think to yourself, they like me. I am good enough. I am loved. That you turn that love onto yourself, and that feeling that you have about yourself changes almost instantly. So the love that you're seeking isn't outside of you, it's within you, and it's been there the entire time, but you just didn't choose to see it. But in this moment right now, today, you can give yourself grace and you can say, I want to love myself. And that want will eventually turn into a knowing. And nobody can do this for you. Nobody can hold your hand and tell you what to think and what to say. But we can come alongside you, we can support one another, and we can lift each other up in the process of self-love. Everything in your life is a direct reflection of what's within you. And so most of us are seeking for a better life. So we want more money, a better business, we want more confidence, we want better relationships, we want less drama, less conflict, and we want peace and joy and fun. But what we don't understand is the direct correlation between how we see ourselves and how we feel about the person that we are. And we don't connect the dots that how we see ourselves today impacts our life outside of us. So for example, I was somebody who wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to create my own business and I wanted to achieve success. But I was continuing to tell myself I wasn't good enough. I don't have the right skills. I don't have enough experience. I'm not as pretty as her. I don't have the confidence or the ambition that so-and-so has. And so what I was doing was continuing to make myself feel less than. And so I was at a vibration of I'm not good enough. And so as I'm trying to grow my business, people would feel that. And they're going to go and work with the other girl who's more confident, who believes in herself, who loves herself, than the person who is sitting here doubting her own capabilities in business. So it's very powerful. We can talk about that in terms of relationships. If you lack confidence in yourself and you continue to need a relationship outside of you to tell you you are loved and you are worthy, when you don't get that, what happens? It's not going to be good. You're going to feel like something is wrong when nothing is wrong. But that person absolutely loves you. You just don't see it. You just don't know it. And so self-love can be the difference between an okay life and an absolutely incredible life. And I'm just a beautiful example of it. If you love yourself and you care about yourself, you take care of you. You take care of your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health. You take care of your relationships, your life, your business. And so one of the darkest times in my life when I really, really hated myself the most, I didn't take care of myself at all. I wore no makeup, no jewelry, no hair done. So this is a complete opposite. And it was because I just didn't care how I looked. I didn't care what people thought about me, and not in a good way. It was in a way of nobody cares anyways. So why bother showing up instead of I feel good and I want to show up as my best version of myself because it makes me feel good, and when you do your hair, when you put on a little bit of makeup, or men, you put on a little bit of cologne, or you shave, clean shaven, it puts a little bit something different in your step. And so self-care is really, really valuable. And sometimes when I feel my lowest, I'll have a nice hot bath, do a face mask, put on the gold foil and just pamper myself because it sends the message that I'm worth it. If there's something going on physically, you have something going on your eye and you're kind of ashamed of it or you're embarrassed by it, it makes sense then to do your hair, put on a little bit of makeup, wear a nice outfit, and just make yourself feel better about it rather than strip away the feelings of positivity towards yourself and make this little thing that barely anybody can see anyways a big deal and amplify it. So you're basically like giving life to this thing that you're worried about what other people think. It's similar to, you have a weakness in life and you give all your attention to that weakness and you vocalize it, you tell people about it, and you let everybody know that you're working on this weakness. But the whole entire time, you haven't paid any attention to all your strengths, all the things that you're so good at. When I was a nurse in long-term care, we used to do strength-based goal planning. And so we would actually sit down and talk about, instead of talking about all the things you can't do for yourself and you need help with, we would talk about what are all the things that you can do? What are all the strengths that you have? How are you independent? And so they walk away feeling empowered and more likely to take care of themselves more than when you start to talk about all the ways that you aren't doing well or you need help. So there's a huge difference between loving yourself and being full of yourself, and really tapping into your ego versus your most divine self, or even self-love versus narcissism. So I would venture to say that narcissism is a lack of self-love. And so you seek to gain power and love and attention outside of you through your behavior. I think it would be the same thing with ego. So if you are somebody who is full of yourself or living from the ego, you're constantly looking for outside feedback. You want people to tell you that you're doing a good job. And so that might be the number of likes on your post, the number of comments. Like, it tells you how good you are. And so you may portray that you are confident, but you actually aren't. And so for me, true self-love and confidence comes from an unconditional place outside of the circumstances around you. And we can say the same thing about happiness. So I love myself no matter if someone else loves me. I love myself no matter if I'm considered to be successful or not. I'm confident whether or not people see it. I'm confident whether or not people like me or whether they're upset with me. And so true self-love comes from a divine place. I love myself because I'm worth it, but I also love others in the same way. So if you find yourself judging others a lot, if you find yourself making other people wrong, or you have a hard time giving people love or gratitude, just go within and ask yourself, where am I not loving myself today? How can I be better within so that I'm treating other people in a better way? And so when you love yourself, you leave others with the impression of increase. You act in integrity. And I truly believe that you're in a place of wholeness versus broken up into little parts, trying to meet everybody else's needs and standards and what people want you to be. You're truly just living your life according to what you want. And then self-love went a whole other way for me when I decided to love myself even more in order to help others love themselves more. So this is huge. Like, this then goes past my own individual day-to-day experience of loving myself to a true place of showing other people how much they can love themselves. Here are some tips on how to create more self-love in your life. The first thing that I would do is to become self-aware. Do I love myself? And if that answer is no, or I could love myself more, then you know right then and there that it's time for you to take action. You to change the experience of your life. The second thing would be to create a self-love plan. So this is an intentional list of things that you're going to do to help empower yourself. So this might be having focused times during the day that you're going to intentionally give yourself positive reinforcement. So it might be standing in front of the mirror and saying lovely things about yourself, noticing the things that you do like. It could also be listening to the I Am audio that I have on YouTube. So we'll put it right here for you to watch it. And this is just a replay of all these beautiful I am affirmations that leave you feeling so empowered by the end. So whatever that is for you, create a plan of the actions that you're going to take to make self-love a priority. And the third step is to behave in a loving way. This is really important. I talked about the people that you love most in your life. Start treating yourself how you treat them. So this might be buying yourself gifts. It might be spending some time at the spa, going to your favorite restaurant, treating yourself to your favorite dinner. Whatever that looks like for you, treat yourself in a loving way, and the world will become more loving towards you. I would love to hear in the comments one thing that you love about yourself. Let's start that path to self-love today, right now. With gratitude, Kathleen.